Come down to the floor and settle into child's pose. Now, if you aren't able to do child's pose, here's an option for you. You can do puppy pose. Puppy pose, the hips are a little higher. In child's pose, the hips are lower and the forehead is down on the ground. I'm opting for puppy pose today. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. And then come on up to all fours. Spread your fingers, push into your knuckles, rotate the insides of the elbows forwards and align hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Just going to tie this into a knot so you can see my body moving, or tuck it in, tie it into a knot so you can see how I move. Good. So hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Just going to do some cat-cows. So with a cat stretch, keep pushing your shoulders forwards, tuck your chin round through your back. The toes are untucked, you're pushing into the tops of your feet. And inhale, lift your chest, lower your belly. Exhale, cat stretch. Inhale, cow. Let's do that one more time. Nice. Have a little wiggle in your hips. Sink back into child's pose. So puppy pose is one option if you can't quite bring your heels down to your hips, or if you want to bring your heels to your hips. And of course, if the forehead doesn't come to the ground, you can just stay here and feel that stretch down the back of your body. We're going to spread our fingers, bring our hands a little bit further away, so that space between the knees and the hands is a little wider, and start to move the hips back. And then bring the hips forwards. Now, the hips are still in control. They don't just flop down. Inhale, come forwards. This is now our extended cat and cow. So starting to bring movement into the whole of the spine, all the way up to the neck, all the way down to the hips. The hands are firmly planted, fingers spread, pushing into the tops of your feet and moving with your breath. So exhaling and inhaling. Exhaling. And then this time come forwards and stop with your shoulders over your wrists. Keep pushing into the tops of your feet. Tuck your elbows and bring your chin and chest down to the floor. And then the hips come down last. Inhale as you exhale. Push away from the floor. Hips come up first and then come back. Inhale, come forwards. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, back. Inhale, come forwards. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hips back. We're going to add a cobra now. So inhale and come forwards. Exhale, lower. And then keep the hands where they are. Squeeze the glutes, lift the chest. Exhale, come down. Inhale, push away from the floor. Exhale, sink the hips back. Inhale, come forwards. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, push away from the floor and come back. Lovely. Come back now to your all fours position. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips, making sure those elbows are facing forwards. Now we're going to do our bird dog. So start with your left leg and just send it out behind you, foot in line with the glute. Keep looking down at the floor between your hands. Try not to twist your body so your core is engaged. Just going to do the leg first, swap legs. Right leg goes out behind you with control. And you squeeze your glute here because the glute's doing the work, making sure your arms are still straight. Lovely. Swap over. This time we're going to do the arm and the leg, but just reset the shoulders, shoulders over wrists, elbows facing forwards, fingers spread, left leg lifts. Then add the arm and hold it. 4, 3, 2, 1. And swap. So pushing your weight forwards, making sure the core is engaged, arms are straight, right leg lifts, and then the left arm lifts. Keeping that core engaged, looking down at the floor, pushing the weight forwards. 2 more seconds, and swap. Lovely. Reaching. Holding, breathing, and swap, reaching, nice and solid, good. Looks easy, doesn't it? But actually in practice it's pretty hard. Wonderful, well done. And then sink your hips back as you exhale, taking a little break here. In child's pose. This is my version of child's pose, but you might be able to do it in a different way. Maybe you want to do puppy pose. Good. Come on up. Let's just do some cat-cows. Just to stretch that back out. After those bird dogs, maybe this time we wiggle in the hips. Rounding through the back. Cow stretch. And cat stretch. Good. And make sure you've got enough space for your hands in front of you and out to the side. You're going to come forwards into that chaturanga pose again. Lower down. This time, oh, actually that knot's not good for me. This time, lift your hands up, reach them out in front of you, bring them around, and bring them forwards. And do that again. Squeezing your glutes here, pushing into the tops of your feet, pushing your hips down, working into that upper back. Bringing the hands back, putting the neck in line with the spine, pushing away from the floor, sinking back as you exhale, inhaling, coming forwards, lowering down, and then lifting the chest, reaching around. And do 4 of those. Really squeeze the glutes here to protect that lower back. Tuck the chin. Good. Bring the hands back. And come on up. And exhale. Right. So you can repeat that twice, 3 times, do it at least once and start to build up. And then we're going to do a little cool down, rounding through the back, having a little wiggle. So more cat-cows for you. Good. And then coming up, and we're going to do that lovely back bend. So making sure the knees are under the hips. You're going to bring your hands behind you into the small of your back. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Inhale, and as you exhale, come into a back bend. Lovely. Well done. Now we're going to do that hip flexor and the hamstring stretch. So on your knees, bring one knee forwards. I'm going to do this slightly to the side so I don't disappear off the screen. So there's a bit of space between the hips. You're going to bring the hips forwards, hips and shoulders facing forwards. Actually, what I'm going to do is just bring this sideways on the mat so that you can see, so it's not too much at an angle. Good. Sending those hips forwards. That front knee is over the front ankle. If you need to move it a bit forwards, you can as you start to get more of a stretch. And we're going to exhale, turn this into a hamstring stretch. Bring the toes up towards the face, or if you've got the ankle flexibility, then you can have that foot flat on the floor and reach forwards. You'll get a nice stretch in your lower back, but also a stretch in the back of that left leg. Inhale and come up, reach up, exhale into a side bend. Inhale, come up, exhale and fold. I'm going to do the other side from the front so you can see what it looks like. And inhale, come up, exhale, side bend. Lovely. Come back to center, hands on your hips, and I'm going to turn to the front for this one. So, knee over ankle, bit of space between the hips to give yourself some balance. I'll do that knot again so you can see what's going on with the body. Loose clothes are great if you want to hide stuff or for comfort, but it's also really helpful just to be able to see what your body is doing. Nice. Inhaling, exhaling, sending those hips forwards, both knees roughly at 90 degrees. And then we're going to come into that hamstring stretch. The hips come back, the leg straightens, and we fold. Can hold these stretches for about 30 seconds. Between 15 and 30 seconds. And if you want to hold it for a little bit longer, you can. Depends on what your body feels like. Coming up. This time we're going to inhale, reach up, and exhale, side bend. So you bend from the same side as the leg that's at the back. That gives you an extra stretch down into that hip flexor, which is the front here. You'll also be getting a nice stretch in the thigh muscles. Inhaling, coming back to center. Exhaling. Exhale as you compress through the front of the body, straightening the leg and coming into that hamstring stretch. And then inhaling and coming up. So just to go over the foam rolling that we did today as well. So foam rolling the calves. Pop that foam roller underneath the fleshy parts of the legs. So the calf muscles, you'll see them kind of squidging out You don't want to go too low onto the Achilles tendon, and you don't want to roll on the back of the knee. So it's that kind of a third of the way down that lower leg. And then bring your hands behind you and lift your hips up off the ground. And here we can just go forwards and backwards, just warming those muscles up. That might be enough for you today. Or if you want to isolate one leg, come down. The leg that you're going to roll comes into the middle of the foam roller. You can support yourself with the opposite leg if you want to, and just come up and go side to side, forwards and backwards, side to side. You'll start to get both of those muscles. But also if you want to, you can just go full on the one calf, and hips are up off the ground and you're pushing down with the opposite leg. This one's quite intense. It can be quite unpleasant if you've not done foam rolling before. Lowering with control. Give your wrists a bit of love if they're feeling a bit unhappy, and swap over to the other side. So again, you can start off by just supporting yourself with the opposite foot, rolling forwards and backwards, rolling side to side. You're looking for about 30 seconds on each muscle. But that is if you're putting full force on, and this is full force. So with foam rolling, you can either hold the foam roller, so hold the foam roller in one position on the muscle, or you can roll backwards and forwards, or you can roll side to side. And you'll probably find as you go with the foam rolling that you'll feel where you need to roll. Don't overdo it, so you don't really want to be rolling for more than about 30 seconds because you might cause bruising, and you probably won't enjoy it either. It'll probably be quite painful. So I hope that was helpful. Any questions, let me know, and really well done today, and look forward to seeing you next week.